Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today? Where we're back, we're live with, I'm back from a good old trip to visit some of my friends and go to a nice sort of board game, TTRPG convention. And yeah, I'm recording a bit later than usual, not because I actually got back this late, but mainly because I was just sort of like chillaxing, to be honest. Do people even use that word anymore? No, but I don't know, it's the first word that came to mind. So I'm recording a bit late, literally just turned midnight. But yeah, it's also a bank holiday tomorrow, so yeah, we've got a lot of time to spare, really. But good evening, everyone. I'm here with a late night broadcast. I hope I can make it through this. Right now in Fawnhallow is 12 AM on what should be Sunday, 24th of August, 2025. But I'm going to be recording. I'll be doing probably a bit of recording of this and after this. Maybe just Patrick's Power Box or something low key. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Maybe I could do some Happy Home Academy. Or maybe I won't. No, I probably should. I'll at least do Patrick's Power Box, I think. And then tomorrow I'm going to have to make a decision if I'm going to stream or if I'm not. Essentially, whoa, Scorpion. Essentially because I'm not going to be here from Thursday onwards. I've got another holiday. And this one, actually, I need to figure out how many things I need to record. Because, I mean, I've cancelled D&D for this week. Partly because I knew that I would have to record things. Friday, Saturday, and we're coming back Monday. So I need to... I probably need to record on pre-record Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday should be okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. That's not too bad, all things considered. Yeah, especially because doing pre-record Happy in Paradises do not take too long. But yeah, I basically just need to make a decision if I'm going to record tomorrow or not. I think the answer's no, like stream tomorrow. I think the answer probably will be no, because I think I need to do a lot of sort of, I don't know, I do have a lot of evenings free. This does mean this week, which does make it a lot easier to record, because I don't need to record as many regular videos outside of norm. In fact, it would just be what I would usually record for videos. It's for Happy in Paradise videos, but you know, that should be okay. I think, all things considered. But yes, keeping busy. What are we going to talk about? I don't know, like, there's a lot of things to talk about regarding the con that we went to. We did a lot of sort of things. There's a group of 4 of us, and it's one that I went to, not last year, because last year on holiday, but the year before that we also went to. And it's a tabletop RPG convention. So I quite like it, because I like the stalls there quite a lot. I like buying, because there's often a lot of stores which have like nice little accessory like things, and I've been slowly trying to increase the amount of like earrings, necklaces, accessories and stuff I have. I'm not a big fan of rings and bracelets, so I don't really wear those, but earrings definitely, necklaces fine. And yeah, am I a big board game fan? I'm not the biggest board game fan, I think, in our friend circle, but I do like them, and I speak about this before. I like them conceptually a lot more than I like playing them. Not that I dislike playing them, but it's just like, I don't know, the thing that really gets me going about board games is sort of like, oh, game design. I'm just like, beautiful game mechanics, like think of XYZ, and I'm just like, yes. But anywho, what was I gonna say is it was a good time. Like I always think the highlight is the fact that we do like a session, essentially. Like in-person tabletop role-playing game sessions are really fun. That's like, I mean, how I got introduced to it. I played D&D in university, and like I just, like, the university had a TTRPG society. I joined it, and I know it was like, oh look, we've got these like 5 different tables where you can try things, one shots essentially. And I was like, I don't know what any of that means. I've heard of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna sit down at this table. And then we did a D&D campaign. It was what's it called? Strahd, Curse of Strahd, that was it. And I don't know, we did quite a few things. Like we got to level 6, which is pretty surprising considering like how busy people are during university time. We didn't finish in campaign. I don't remember really what happened to what extent, but yeah, I think it was quite a nice time. Quite chill, quite fun. And I really liked it, and I was like, okay, you know, when are we gonna do it again? And then like I did it with another friend, like a much smaller one, which only got to like level 2, I think. I don't even know if it got to level 3. It was quite short lived, but it was fun. And then we did another one online and stuff like that. Anyway, long shot now is now, if you don't know, I've been DMing 2 campaigns for my groups of friends, and it's been going on for a year and a half now, I think. Which is crazy. That's like a lot of sessions. How many sessions of each have I ran? I think like 60-ish. It is once a week, but you know, there's often times which like it's cancelled or something like that. And I take holidays off, obviously, because I'm like, that's too much otherwise. But it's nice to do it in person. I would love to do these ones in person, but obviously we're quite all sort of spread out, so it's not always particularly feasible. But it's nice to do these one-shots in person. It's also nice, I think, an opportunity to be in the player seat, which these two have given me, like these 2 times we've done it, has given me the chance to. Like 2 years ago, and also another really big part is we get to play different sort of systems. Like I play D&D mainly because I knew I was like, I'm DMing campaign. D&D is like literally going to want to know. If I'm going to do it in a long haul and I'm going to be DMing, I want to do a system I'm very familiar with. If I do a future one, will I do a different system? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a decent chance I would, but it would still be a big one. Like it would be Pathfinder or it would be something else. I don't know, a pretty big one. But I think it's more beneficial now because now all the players would be familiar with certain systems and stuff, which would be good. Because there's quite a few people who've only played for like first time or played very, very little in this campaign. But that's not the point. The point is, I think it's a nice time to try different systems. So 2 years ago, we played a system called Mothership, which is like some sci-fi horror-esque sort of thing. I thought the system was okay. I don't really remember much of it, to be honest. But it was also 2 years ago. But the thing I always remember is I always like playing a character, you know, you sit down, just be like, all right, I'll invent a character, let's see what happens. I remember the one I played 2 years ago. She was like, I think she was a veteran class or something called Maya, and she was basically, in my mind, I describe her as like a cloud cuckoo lander who locks the heck in when it comes to like combat time. Yeah, she was just like doing her own thing, being like, yeah, whatever's going on. In the meanwhile, and then it came to combat, and then it was just like personality switch. This time we played a system, I think it was called Deadlands, right? And it was quite a cool one, actually. I think it was quite streamlined in the sense it was much more simplistic about like what is failures, what success is. You know, as a DM, I can imagine you don't have to set them necessarily. It's just like if it goes over a 4, it's success, and it's the dice which change, which make it more or less likely. You basically always... I thought it was a very interesting way of doing skill checks. It's basically, if you're skilled in something, you always roll a d6, which is called like the wild roll or something. And then if you're skilled in it, you will have additional dice you can roll on top of that, and then you basically like take the highest one. And they have an exploding dice mechanics, which I have heard of before. I haven't heard it in the case of this. I've heard it, people use it in critical hits in D&D. But basically, if you roll the max roll on a dice, you get to roll it again. That's a really fun thing. I might try and incorporate that somehow into the campaign. I don't think I'm going to make it like a full-on feature because that's probably too much to keep track of, but like a global rule, but I might incorporate it into someone's, I don't know, like feature or something. But yes, I think I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. It's like, I thought it was quite a fun system, to be honest, the Deadlands system. I played a cleric or preacher. I can't remember what they were called, but essentially a cleric. Who I named Dahlia. And I just, well, I started out going and being like, you know, oh, well, you know, we'll just start out being like someone who's very sort of reverent about the Almighty, you know, the light, and very preachy in a way, very sort of traditional in their views. And then I like slowly shifted away because I was like, this is a bit boring. Let's do something a bit more interesting. So I like to think that they were just, you know, they were like sort of like blissfully ignorant in a sense. Like mean well, but, you know, have not obviously raised on some very traditional views and things, and believes that's the only way to live life, and sort of like the way, like not necessarily out of malice, but like, sort of like they couldn't even conceive of be like, why wouldn't you follow the Lord? I know there wasn't as much character acting in this one, because I think this one's a bit interesting, because while the last one I thought was a bit more of sort of like a things happening, oh shit, this one was much more, it felt like investigatory, but I had a great time playing it. I mean, I think it's always fun to be on the player's side. I always like role-playing, so why not? Do I prefer being a DM or a player? I think in a lot of cases, I do actually prefer being a DM, mainly because I feel like I'm too much of a control freak. I'm like, I need to control the story. But it's nice to, you know, be a player as well, and sort of just like sit back and watch things happen, let things happen. And I think it's certainly easy, and it's because like I'd like to be in a DM in the story that I created, and like a world that I created, right? Because that's the sort of the thing that I pen, and then it's like let the characters do whatever, and it's sort of like a reactive game in that sense. But if it's like someone else and is running a system world, you know, obviously not the world I made, then it's like, yeah, being a player is more fun in that sense. But yeah, I think I had a very interesting sort of dice rolling system. There were 4 of us who were playing, and then we had a stranger who joined us. The stranger was super cool. He was like a really chill guy, and he was apparently someone who played like TT RPGs since like 1980s or something. So, you know, he's a real veteran. The DM, she was pretty nice as well. Apparently it was the first time that she was ever DMing anything, and we're like, whoa. So that's good fun. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like the Deadlands system was pretty cool. Is it something I would do a whole campaign with? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. Obviously, I'm not going to do more campaigns than the ones I'm currently running. That's definitely way too much. The thing is, if I were to do Deadlands, I would do like a variant of it, because I'm not a super fan of like the Wild West thematic. As a full campaign. Like, I mean, I like my high fantasy, which, you know, D&D, you know, you can do a lot of different systems in high fantasy. It's quite a flexible thing, but, you know, it helps with D&D because then you don't have to build everything from scratch, you know, you don't have to reskin everything. Deadlands was still pretty cool though. I had a fun time playing it. But I think we did a preset adventure. I don't really know. But I don't know what it would have been called. Deadlands, maybe if I put Showboat, because that was one of the more iconic NPCs. No, it was called Sundown, right, wasn't it? Sundown. The Weird West, Showdown at Sundown. Oh yeah, I forget. The Showdown was like a big part of this, but we in our playthrough like derailed it almost instantly, I think. Not me personally, because my character was apparently a pacifist. Not like a full-on pacifist, like they'd never attack anyone. But they're like, you know, they don't really want to resort to violence. But there's basically, from what I gleaned, you know, and what most people I'm sure as well gleaned from the players was like, oh, there's a duel happening, showdown. The person running it is a bit suspicious, or probably pretty suspicious, and we're meant to do some investigation when that happens. And then like one of the first events which happened the next day was like a snake oil salesman came into town, and then the sheriff just started beating him up. And, you know, obviously we were like all like, whoa. But then the sheriff like threw a punch at one of the players, and then the other players were all like, let's go. And then guns started firing. I don't think I damaged anyone throughout the entire thing. I think I can't remember. I tried to assist. I don't even remember what I did the other time. Did I? I don't think I tagged anyone. I don't even remember what I did at first combat, mind you. But anyway, you know, bullets started flying, and then the sheriff was killed, and I was like, whoa, okay. I was thinking, you know, this poor DM, because we very clearly must have derailed exactly whatever her plan was almost immediately. But yeah. But we still did the rest of the investigation anyway, and then we did a bit of sort of like fast forwarding, skipping over things to get to the actual juicy part where we did the final fight, essentially. They have an interesting system called like bennies, where you could basically like reroll. You could do a lot of things with bennies. Mind you, I basically never used mine because there wasn't much need a lot of the time. Like, I wasn't doing a lot of combat rolls. The only time I used it was basically at the end, where one of the other players was on 2 wounds, and I was like, oh, I can heal you. And I misplayed this, in my opinion, but I was like, oh, I'll heal you. And they have a system where basically if you roll like 4 higher than the actual threshold, you basically, it's not a critical hit, but you basically get like an additional benefit. You get a raise. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep rolling and re-rolling until one of these dice explode, and then I'll get a raise from that probably. And that will heal 2 wounds. What I should have done, which was my initial plan, is I would multi-action and cast the spell twice. It gives you a -2 thing, but then I have so many bennies I can re-roll past the -2 probably. So it's a very interesting system they have, I think. I think that's the interesting part. Like, not only is a wild dice roll pretty interesting, the fact that you can have exploding dice is pretty cool. The fact that if you overshoot the thing by a lot, then there's like a system built in place to be like, you get X, Y, Z benefits. It was interesting that you had to actually like spell cast using a dice roll. So like to actually heal, like for it to be a success or not, I would have to heal. I would have to roll. But that's basically the only times I really rolled. Like, I don't think I attacked anything in the one shot, right? Because the first. Oh, the other thing the combat initiative is really interesting as well. You basically get dealt a playing card, and then that determines your initiative. Based on the number, and then the suits have an order as well. But yeah, it was interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, what else to say about it? Yeah, I actually don't think I damaged anyone. I can't remember. The first round of combat, I tried to help an NPC. The next round of combat, I think it ended before I had another turn or something. That can't be right. Or maybe I healed someone? Or maybe I boosted someone's stat. I don't remember. I have no recollection of what I did. Genuinely no recollection. I think maybe I assisted someone. Oh well. And then in the final encounter, I buffed someone. Which actually ended up not being that useful, because unfortunately they missed, I think, for the first 2 shots they fired of it. And then I buffed someone, and then I healed someone. But the healing was crazy, because there's another rule in the game, which I'm not sure if I'm as big a fan of, but basically if you get snake eyes, if you roll 2 1s, you critical fail. Which happened, I think, 4 times our session, which is crazy. But basically, that was a misplay. When I was like trying to heal, I ended up critically failing the heal. And apparently you can't reroll a critical fail, which definitely feels weird in my book, but I guess it's to make it more, like the entire dice rolling system is to make everything feel more punchy. So the critical hits, the exploding dice feel more punchy, and the critical fails feel so as well. I'm not sure if I like that sort of extreme in my personal opinion. I like things which are more weighted to the player in a sense, because it feels good, because it generally feels better to do for things to feel good, right, than for things to feel bad. Which is why, like, you know, I don't mind doing like critical rolls being like big things which happen in my campaigns, but critical fumbles, I will never do like anything super punishing. Like, you won't, like, some people do it, like you like drop your weapon or you get wounded or something like that. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That just feels like you're just like kicking someone while they're down, right? D&D is about those hype moments, right? Like, the critical, like, the natural one's already a fumble, so I don't know, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, another player, like my friend, rolled 2 snake eyes throughout the entire throughout the entire one shot. It was the most glorious thing. Rolled snake eyes on one turn. Like they went last in a round, rolled snake eyes, almost shot a friend, and then they went first in the next round, and then rolled literally 1 in 1,000 chance. They rolled a d10 which exploded 3 times, did like 40 or something damage, just boom, one shot. It was insanity. So yeah, you know, yeah, talking about it out loud, it's more about this hype and like bigger hits, bigger lows, right? The critical fumbles, the exploding dice. So yeah, I don't know, it's very interesting, I think about, right? And I'm sure I'm going to have so many other things I want to talk about. I didn't realise it's been 20 minutes already, but so many things to talk about. But Deadlands, yeah, Deadlands is kind of cool. I think it's definitely something I'd do a one-shot or short campaign. I'm not sure if I'd want to do a full campaign with. Or I'm not sure how I feel about it enough to do it, you know? Because I don't know. Maybe I think I want things more tempered. I don't know, maybe I want something more roleplay heavy. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, but that's just like my thoughts. I mean, literally we only played for like 4 hours or something, so it's a bit hard to get much of a trajectory on that. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to round this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.